Okay, moving forward to attitudes and persuasion. Let's talk about cognitive dissonance and persuasion. These are two very, very important topics. So when it comes to cognitive dissonance, this is whenever you have psychological discomfort as a result of two or more incongruent or inconsistent beliefs, attitudes, or behaviors. Okay? Now, when it comes to this, usually what I'll see for people who experience cognitive dissonance is that there's an incongruence between a belief that they have as well as a behavior. And so there are a few ways in which we can alleviate this cognitive dissonance. So firstly being, you just change the behavior, right? Easier said than done, especially when it comes to addiction. But you can also change the belief about it. Well, the harms and the risks of smoking are inconclusive. My grandfather smoked till he was 90 years old or whatever the case is, and I've got his genes, so I should be just fine. So you're changing either the belief or you quit the smoking altogether if smoking is the cognitive dissonance that you're experiencing. You have the belief that you probably shouldn't smoke, but you still engage in the behavior of doing so. All right, so this right here is, again, just to give you more so a visual version of that very example of smoking. And you can add any sort of addiction, because addiction in this, for this example, is pretty low-hanging fruit and easy to describe whenever it comes to this particular topic. A lot of people know that they probably shouldn't abuse the substance that they are, but they still engage in the behavior because of a psychological or even physical addiction to it. And so the way that you can alleviate that mental discomfort, again, either stopping smoking, stopping drinking, stopping taking drugs, again, easier said than done, or change the belief about the particular substance. Well, it helps me perform better, it helps me, be more productive, whatever the case is. And we talked about that defense mechanism in previous chapters, in the last one with chapter 11, personality. So go check that out if you haven't already and learn more about defense mechanisms. And that one is called rationalization. Okay, let's talk about persuasion. We're all getting persuaded every single day, whether we like to admit it or not. There's so many subtle things. It doesn't have to just be a billboard smack dab in our face. It can be subtleties that we may not even necessarily notice that can also influence us. So to give persuasion a definition, it is the process of changing our attitude towards something based on some kind of communication. So it can be verbal, it can be written, it can be visual, whatever the case is. As long as it's able to be communicated. And so we constantly are being inundated with, you can see right here, especially on this Honda here, somebody is wanting to persuade you and hoping that by you passing by and glancing at their car sticker that it'll somehow change your behavior for whatever way. Okay? But although that may not be the best way to persuade somebody, there are techniques that are a lot better. And when you understand a lot of techniques in persuasion, you can utilize these in your own life. And one of these techniques is called the foot in the door technique. This is when a persuader gets a person to agree to a small favor only to later request a larger favor. So in this essence, you want something bigger in the long term, but if you ask it up front, you're likely to get a no. But something about humans that you need to understand is that we like to be consistent people. Whenever we say yes to something, we tend to want to keep with that trajectory. And what I mean by that is, and it's not in all cases, but it's again a higher likelihood that you can get the desired result in the end, where if you go up to somebody, say you're running for some campaign for whatever you're wanting to get, and you go up to the person, you say, hey, appreciate you taking this time. I'm running for a campaign for whatever office. I've got this sign here. Do you care if I just set it in your yard? Low effort, doesn't really, you don't really have to work at it or anything like that. They just pop it in the yard and they go. You're not really doing anything. Now, next they may come to you and say, hey, really appreciate the support so far. I've got these buttons that I made and I would like to just give you one for free. Do you care to maybe wear this around town? And although you don't really see that happen often, it is just a very elementary example to show you how that progression can continue to increase in size or requests. So with the button takes a little bit more effort. You actually have to pin it. You have to wear it around. You come home and you take it off, things like that. Then you come back to that person. You say, hey, really appreciate the ongoing support that you've had for me. I've got this campaign event that I'm trying to get volunteers for. I appreciate you helping me out so far. Is there any way you can make this from like 1 to 2 to assist with people checking in? Right? And so, according to the foot in the door technique, if it, and this, I know that's a very quick 1, 2, 3. It can occur usually over the course of multiple requests, but in this essence, you would have a higher likelihood of getting that person to volunteer for your event than you would if you just showed up one day and say, "Hey, help me out with this thing." And it's just like, okay, dude, I don't even know who you are. But once you've established some sort of the word's not coming to me, but once you've established some sort of, not camaraderie, but some basis with this person, some sort of emotion and companionship or acquaintance, you've established being an acquaintance with this person, there's a lot higher likelihood they'll help you out with your event.